initial setup for the Python, as we installation not required for this separately, because as we did already PyCharm. So for Python practice also we will use the PyCharm only. So but only the difference here, we are not creating any dynamic web application or Django application, just straightforward core Python programs we will write. So it is somewhat easy for you to understand the Python program. And first we'll give you a brief intro about what is Python, what are the features of Python, the stuff, and then we can go for a sample program how we will write in the Python. Okay, so maybe that might give you some basic clarity what is Python, and how we will write program in Python. And likewise we'll gradually come up with different concepts one by one. And even today I will also showcase you like what are the topics we may cover in the Python as part of this course. Okay, the first thing, what is Python? So basically a Python is like scripting language, I can say that it is a scripting language as like other languages like C, CPP, Java, but only difference is C, C++, .NET, Java, these are all programming languages, whereas Python is scripting language. So that is the basic, I mean that principle, or I can say that because of this feature, so Python will be very easy for the developers or new learners, I can say that. For example, if some ex-person wants to learn a new programming language or a new language to sustain in the IT field, so nowadays Python will be the best option, because Python is such a way that they designed even non-IT people. That means even the guy who doesn't have even basic IT knowledge, they can also understand Python easily. Why? Because it is straightforward how we will think, like that we can do the programming, unlike Java or C. Because in Java, C, if you observe, we should do unnecessary things more on, like maybe if you write just hello world, we should write class, class name, and public static void main, that all stuff will be required. But when go for Python, it's not at all required for Python program. And the second thing, like mostly Python, whatever the code we are writing, it is optimized the number of lines. Like when we go for Java, if you are writing some program or some logic in 100 lines, that same thing you can reduce in Java hardly 50 to 60 lines. That means at max to max 40 to 50% of code will be reduced in Python comparatively C or Java. That is one more beauty. And the last one, Python is completely open source, and also it is huge demand in the currently market for freshers, I can say that. So recent days if you observe, more on openings equivalent to the Java as well as Python. So if you have good knowledge on Python or Java, that is okay, because even maybe any of you attempt the recently any tech exams, like maybe TCS or Infosys or any other competitive exams, and technically for writing program, if you observe there, they're giving an option for you people to choose the language. Like they will give you a common question. To write a program for that question, they will give you a drop down of language like Python, Core Java, C++ in general. So that indicates that here programming language is not matter for the companies. The how you understood the logic, or how you implement the logic, or how you like how is your analytical skills, I can say that. So this is what companies are looking for general in fresher. That's why they're giving option to write the program in any language, so not particular coding. So similarly, in that case, so definitely as a fresher, it is better to choose the easiest language to write the logic. So that is one of the Python. So finally the conclusion will be, so Python is scripting language. Okay, so second thing is I mean that to develop the any kind of applications, I can say that. So it's a scripting language to develop the programs to implement any application. That is basic thing, I can say that. But when we go for features, I can say that why this is so much of popular, or so much what are the best features we have in the Python, we'll see one by one. The first feature I have in Python, Sahi, మెల్లగా మాట్లాడు. Yeah, the first feature, as we know, all are open source. So Python is 100% open source. That means You need not to pay anything to anyone to consume the Python in your machine. So again here I want to clarify you, there is a three types of softwares in the market. One is freeware, second one is paidware, third one is open source. Paidware means there is no doubt at all, like MS Office, we have to pay the amount to the company to get the license of the respective software like Windows. And the second, freeware, you need not to pay anything to use it in your system for the personal use, but when coming to the commercial use or when coming to edit the code, you need to take the permission from the respective company. But when coming to the open source means you can take that repository or the what the actual software and you can customize as per your requirement. Best example I will tell you, Linux. So Linux is open source. That's why we have many versions like Ubuntu or Kali and uh, Mint. So these are the different variations of the Linux only. But as for requirements, they are developing in different variations. Like Ubuntu will be the general friendly, Kali will be used for ethical hacking, and Mint is used for generally analytical analysis, like that. So when if something is open source, so that can be consumed free of cost. At the same time, you can edit it in your required format. So that is the beauty of one of the beauty of the open source. And the second very important feature is, it is, as I mentioned already, sorry, one second. Yeah. So it is platform independent. So what it means, so here also I just want to clarify two words. So one is platform independent, another one is portable. Most of the people will confuse about these words also. See, portable means the code whatever we are writing in a particular language can be movable through any transmission, like maybe using pen drive or CD. If you are able to move that code from one computer to another computer, we called it as a portable language or portable technology. But when coming to the platform independent means, if you are able to run the particular program in different environment, so in different operating system or different platform, I can say that processor, then we can call it as a platform independent. So platform independent means, one second. Yeah, platform independent means the outcome or the application whatever we developed by using Python can be executable in any operating system, in any processor. I can say that maybe 32-bit, maybe 64-bit. Similarly, maybe Linux or Unix or Mac or what we call the Windows. So anywhere we can run it. So similarly, one second. Yeah, sorry. So similarly, portable means just moving from one place to another place. Whether you are able to execute or not doesn't matter. Just if you are able to copy into some source, then we can call it as a portable. So simple. If you copy the content in the pen drive and move it to some place and you paste it over there, that is we call simply portable nature. Okay. And the next very important feature is general purpose. So it is quite similar to Java. Means, so some particular language, even though they are very popular but specific to one particular domain or technology. I can tell you one example, Android. So Android is very popular in the market, but you can able to develop only mobile applications, or I can say that to Android mobile applications by using Android. You cannot do iOS application, you cannot do web application. And similarly, when you are using JavaScript, it is so popular in currently market if you observe that. But though by using JavaScript, you can able to develop only web applications. You cannot create any other than that by using JavaScript. That means the scope of the respective technology is limited. But when coming to the Java or Python or .NET, mostly these three technologies, these are completely general purpose. Means you can able to develop multiple types of applications using Python. Example I will tell you. That is, even this is the one of the very good point why we should learn Python. I can say that, like what is the scope of the Python in future, you can understand by this fourth point. Okay, so basically Python, why we call general purpose means, see, by using Python you can able to develop the web applications. That is what we covered so far, like Django, I can say that. So by using Django, you can able to develop the web applications, and similarly by using Python, you can able to develop the desktop applications like standalone application, and also you can able to develop the mobile applications, and also you can able to develop the games, and also you can able to develop the ML or AI. This is well known thing for everyone. Artificial intelligence, that also you can work on using Python only. And after that, you can also work on data analysis or data science, I can say that. So these two areas also, if you want to work in the future, you should have Python knowledge only. And after that, IoT. So IoT is purely nowadays developing by Python only, because initially IoT is working with C language like CPP language, C++. So that is Arduino device. But the latest device which commonly used in the IoT device called Raspberry device. So Raspberry is completely working with Python only. Okay. So recent days most of the IoT devices are working with Python only. Okay. And also automation testing, so like Selenium. So if someone wants to move to the moving to the testing side, yes, for them also nowadays Python is very good source for understanding automation testing with Selenium basically. So see, if you observe that these are very popular like domains also, you can say that. Okay, so these are the very popular domains currently what we have in the market, though along with this and other applications also we have, like example I will tell you, image processing, video processing, and 3D virtualization. For all these kind of areas currently the working environment is Python only. So that is the reason, if you really understand the importance of Python, so, and also as I mentioned, it's easy to understand, that is what we can say, that developer friendly. So even this much it has this much advantages, though it is very easy to understand also. So that's why most of the people are nowadays willing to learn the Python. So it's a developer friendly, means you can easily understand Python without having any basic C language or core Java knowledge also. So if you doesn't have any basic knowledge also, straight away you can learn Python and you can start working on the applications. So that is also very important feature of the Python. And the next important, I mean that yeah, one of the important feature is, it is interpreter based language, I can say that. Interpreter. Okay, so what do you mean by interpreter, Saranta? Basically whatever the program or scripting we generally writing, that is in English we are writing in generally. So that means whatever the language we are consuming, it is not at all understandable to the computer. So we require to convert into low level language called binary language. So that process, like conversion from high level language to low level process, will generally take caring by this particular translators, I can say that. So these translators we have two types. One is compiler, another one is interpreter. So compiler means where it will convert all the lines at a time. Like if you have 100 lines, it will convert 100 at a time. But whereas interpreter will convert line by line. But the major advantage is interpretation doesn't require two-step execution. It will do the one-step execution. That means both translation and execution will happen in single step. So the performance wise it is a little improved compared to the other languages due to this advantage. So interpreter will convert all the lines at a time and will run the code directly. So that is one more advantage what we have in the Python. It's not only Python, all scripting basically, JavaScript, VBScript, PHP, Python. So these are all languages generally scripting based language. Scripting will use only interpreter rather than like compiler. So that is one more advantage what we have in the Python. And the next important like what we can say that important feature is, it is object oriented language. So as like Java, Python is also object oriented language. That means all the object oriented features, like example class and object, functions, and inheritance, polymorphism, that all properties even we have in the Python also. We are going to be learning the topics. So that features also we have in this particular Python. So it might help you to understand more realistic problems in programmatical way. So oops, I mean that object oriented features, it is more understand or more important when you want to convert your realistic problem, like maybe the real time application into programmatical way. So it might help you to understand that concept, that process, I can say that. So that is the major advantage. So that also will cover detail in the upcoming classes. So as of now, any doubt, please let me know. Na? So otherwise, I mean the go for next points. So as of the 7 points, is it clear for everyone? Any doubts as of now? Can anyone confirm? Do you have any doubts as of now?
No, sir.
Okay. Can anyone confirm that other than any other one? Or if you have any doubt, please ask me, Nana. It's a good time to ask, no issues. Okay, good.
No, sir.
Okay, then. So the next point will be dynamic nature, Nana. So that means whatever the program we written in the Python, it won't allocate any memory at the time of compilation because there is no phase called compilation. So how much memory will it require? That all memory will allocate at the time of execution only. That means on the fly, dynamically at the time of execution, if at all required, how much memory. So that memory will be given by the Python interpreter at the execution time only. It doesn't consume any memory statically. So that is also will use for your memory optimization in Python. So that is what we call dynamic, we call simply dynamic in nature. And also it allows to handle the exceptions in runtime. So that is we call runtime errors or runtime exceptions, I can say that. So EXC exceptions, yeah, runtime. So we can handle the exceptions in terms of, first of all, what is exceptions are. So generally, whatever the errors if you are able to identify at the time of execution. So when you are running the program, so you are identified some problem. You means the system identified some problem. So then we called it as a exception. I will tell you some examples. So you written a program. So there is some spelling mistake. So this is not exception. This is a syntax mistake. That is your mistake. But assume that you written a code such a way that you are expecting some number from the keyboard, assume that, but end user I mean that unintentional intentionally he given some text instead of number. Now in that case program is not expecting the text, it is expecting number, but user given the text. So such kind of problem we call runtime, because until unless I'm reading the data, I'm taking into the program, I'm not sure whether I'm getting number or text. So that only I can understand, I can add to the known that at the time of getting the data only. So that kind of exception we call runtime exceptions or runtime problems. Even something like something by zero, I can say that. So something by zero is syntactically correct, but mathematically it is infinite, I can say that we can't define the value. So such kind of problems we are called runtime errors, and that runtime errors technically known as in Python exceptions. And we can overcome that exceptions by providing a better and a better approach, or I can say that by handling that in a proper way. So that is what we call handling exceptions, and this is only we call exception handling. So this feature also we have in Python. Any doubt as of now? So exceptions is clear for you. What do you mean by exception, and how what is the process of exception handling? I hope you understand. So the errors which are getting at the time of execution are known as exceptions, and we can throw that exceptions at the time of execution by properly handle the code. So that process only we call exception handling, and this approach we have in the Python. The next one, store, I can say this smaller way, storage. So which means files generally, database. So Python supporting storage facilities or storage features, like it can communicate with the files. That means the text files and Excel files and PDF or Word document, whatever the documents generally we have, that everything can able to do some operations with using Python. Similarly, database also, like you can insert the data into the database and you can read the data from the database. So that all operations also we can perform by using Python. So that way I can say that it is a storage support. So basically, Srinath, so these are the very popular features, I can say that. So you can say because of these features, we can say Python is more popular in the market and even more what we can say that usable in the market. Okay, so that's why more of the people recent days, if you observe that, comparatively Java or other languages, they're migrating to Python because of these reasons. But technically or functionally, nothing is different from Java to Python, because as I mentioned already clearly, if you want to check a condition login, example username or password correct or not, in which language or which technology you choose, the logic won't be changed. Similarly, if you want to check a number even or odd, so if you go for Python or Java, the logic of the even or odd doesn't change. If the number divisible by 2, it is even. If not, it is an odd number. That logic doesn't change. Only the syntax, how you are writing the program, how you are executing the program, that may vary from C to C++, C++ to Java, Java to Python. That's all. So that's why what I'm telling, if you have the knowledge, a strong knowledge, I can say that a strong knowledge in one language, it may be anything, you can automatically upgrade all other languages by your own without taking any help. That I will give you 100% assurance. But only thing is how you understand the syntax and how you are implementing the syntax to write the program, that is important. So again, that also you can able to do only through practice. So how much time you are spending to write the programs and analyze the programs, that will give you more confidence about the programming in general any language. It may be Python, it may be Java. Okay, so this is all about a basic introduction about Python. So as of now, if any doubt, please let me know, otherwise I will go to the next topic. Any doubt as of now? Yeah, Sinana. So I hope I'm not listening anything. So can I consider everything is clear? Okay, so I hope there is no doubt. So now the basic foundation we can start, Sinana. So if you want to write a simple program in Python, very simple program like sum of the two numbers, maybe hello world, like that. So we require to understand basic three things, Sana. One is how to print, I mean that how to print the any statement on console. So that is the one thing. And second thing, how to read the input. Yeah, so these two things you need to understand very basic level, Anna. So in Python, if you want to print anything, so if you want to print like hello world or some of the two numbers something, we will use a statement called print directly. So if you want to print some message, you can write directly that message in the double quotes. But if you want to print some value, we can take directly that value as a variable, no need of double quotes. So the only difference between the double quotes and without double quotes is, with the double quotes, the text will be printed as it is. Without double quotes, the value which is available in the respective variable will print it out. Yes, sorry, na. See, print is used to print something on the screen, but detailedly I will go for tomorrow. Like what are the data types we have and what are the different ways of printing the statement. That all we'll see tomorrow. But basically, I'm telling now. Similarly, input is used to read some input from the keyboard. Like maybe you enter your name, enter a value, like that. If you go for C language, scanf. Similarly, we can use input statement. So these are the two things which are very basic level we required to understand to write a simple program. So that anyway, I will cover this all the foundations up to conditional statements like data types, variables, and input output statements, and also like the standards. I mean that naming convention, how we will write the Python program, and also that all stuff will comes under the tomorrow class. I mean the day after tomorrow class. So the planning of our Python class will be, so first one today as I mentioned, that is introduction and sample program also I will show you, and the second class will be foundations. I can say that this will include like data types and variables and operators and basic naming conventions. These are all will come to in the second foundation. And third one I can say that statements. So statements will include three things. One is conditionals like if else, and we have like for loops, for loop, while loop, and also like some keywords like break, continue, return. That all will comes under the statements only. And after that we will go with collections. So collections are the list which can be stored multiple values at a time, like in other language we call arrays. Here we can use collections, the different types of collections like list, tuple, dictionary, that all. And after that we will go with functions. So what is function, how we will write the function, and how to call the function, that all we will consider as part of functions. And then we will start oops concepts, like I can say that how to write the class and object and how to access the each method from the class. That all will be there in the next one. And the seventh one, then we can start modules. So modules in the sense I can say that libraries, inbuilt libraries, some libraries we have in the core Python, like example mathematical library, string library, and also regular expressions, RE, and also some sort of date and time. So these are the some basic libraries we have that we will be covered in the core Python. So by that we are concluding generally the Python concept. But again it will take 45 days, like that it will take, so the time to complete this Python course. So we'll see based on our adjustment and your timelines, we'll see. But these are the majorly focused topics in any language. And similarly in Python also we are covering the same. And also as I mentioned, if you want to, as a fresher, if you are attending any interview, the these 7 topics is enough, or what do you call is more you need to focus to understand. That is what exactly we are also planning. And as I mentioned, so here also we are using PyCharm only to do this particular what we can say that Python programming also. So for that you can create any folder, or if you want to do in this also, it is okay. For example, in this only I'm going to be creating a new folder. In the same folder, new directory means folder. So I'm writing core, I'm taking core Python, okay. So where I can write all the core Python programs. And here also if you want to differentiate each program, you can do that. Like for example, directory I'm writing basics. Likewise you can section wise also you can divide. And now after that right click on the new, and then Python file. So this all already explained in the starting day. But still, if you want to once again see, if you want to create a new Python file, very simple. So right click on the folder which you created just before. So if you want to create a folder again, so right click on new Python directory. So this is the folder creation, and under that you can create how many programs you want, that many you can create, but select the Python file every time. So the Python file you can give your own name. Let's take example, I'm giving hi. So Python file extension will be .py nana. So you can write .py, okay, enter. So now the once the file created, you can start programming directly without following any basic signatures. So for example, I just want to print the hello world, assume that. So simply you can write print, as I mentioned already, just hello world, that's all. So likewise, you can write directly the code however you require. Like that is the basic advantage of the Python. So no need of following guidelines, basic guidelines. You can write directly the program. Now if you want to print it, so right click on that, and run hi. The name of the file you can select and click on run. So now you can able to see the output of this particular thing in the terminal, that is the hello world. But the same program, if you want to write in the C or Java, at least we should write 7 to 8 lines of code unnecessarily. But Python is not like that. It is removing the unwanted lines straight away. It is using the whatever we are using in the program only. Similarly, if you want to print some value, so simply a equal to 10 you can write and print a, that's all. So now you can able to see the hello world along with the, and here also you can run the program, both ways you can run, and now you can able to see the a value called 10. So in this ways we can able to write a program and print the value. So this is a very simple, straightforward approach of writing and running the Python programs. But as I mentioned, right, to understand what is a and what is this type of the variable, so that all we require to understand these foundational concepts. So what are the foundation like data types and variables, and also like operators, what are the operators, and even how can we define the constants in Python. So that all topics, if you really understood, then it is easy to carry the remaining concepts. And also in Python, we can also have the concept called comments. So as like other language, here also you can define the comments. So for example, if you want to define the single line comment, so simply we can write ash. So ash followed by you can write a comment. So that won't be executed. So it's just for reading purpose only. Like whatever the comment you are writing, it's showing ash color if you observe that. So this comment will won't be part of your program. So that means you won't get any output for that particular comment. But if I'm removing ash, then it will treat as a program. That's why it's showing error. See that. So that is the way. If you want to make it a single line comment, put ash before the respective statement or line. But if you want to write the multi lines, like multiple lines in the comment, then you can use triple quotes, either three double quotes or three single quotes. Anything is okay. So that we can use for the multiple lines of comments like this. See that. Or else you can use multiple single quotes also. See that, like this. So both are okay in the Python. Both are we called comments only. Either multiple single quotes or multiple double quotes are used for generally comments only. So likewise, comments basically are used to describe your program. So basically, comments are the majorly used for describing or giving some documentation for your program. So basically, so these comments are not executable. That means whatever the content you are writing as part of comments, that are only part of program. So which are not part of your outcome. So likewise, you can differentiate the code from the comments. And here we have two types. One is single line comments, and the second one is multi-line comments. So multi-line means, as I mentioned, we can write the multiple lines of content as a comment. Single line means only one line. So if you want to define only one line, you can write hash followed by content. And when you want to define multiple comments, as I mentioned already, either you can use three double quotes or three single quotes. So anything is okay. So in between three single quotes or three double quotes, whatever we are writing, so that we can mention as a multi-line comments. So this is all about the comments what generally we used in the Python, but it's somewhat different from the other language, because in Java C generally we used double forward slash for single line, and star slash star is indicating multi-line in generally, but in Python it's quite different. So this is all about the introduction part of today, Nana. So tomorrow we'll continue the, as mentioned, the foundation concepts. Tomorrow means Wednesday class, and where I will show you more examples like some of the two numbers and average, that all programs like how to read the dynamic input from the keyboard. So that all will cover on the next class. But make sure by that class you have to, if someone not install the Python, please install and start writing at least a hello world program, so that the remaining will do in the next class. But don't forget, please install and start your working. Again I'm telling, it is not like something called theory class. You cannot understand after listening 3 to 4 classes. So if you start parallelly practicing, then only you can understand. So that is pretty sure. So please follow that. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me right now. Anyone have any doubt, you can ask me, Nana.